Hi, I'm Carly, frequent Wild Labs enthusiast and also the science outreach coordinator at Rainforest Connection. And I'm going to take you through some updates from our team, particularly with regard to our free no-code ecoacoustics platform called Arbimon. If it'll let me go, there we go. Rainforest Connection is a nonprofit that's really focused on harnessing the power of sound to protect and preserve and understand the natural world. Within this, we develop and leverage conservation technology with partners from around the world to monitor threatened ecosystems and protect them from illegal activities. And as part of that mission, we run the Arbimon platform. As I said, this is a free web-based and cloud-enabled platform for ecoacoustics. You can upload an unlimited amount of audio from whichever audio recorder is your preference. And we've got a combination of RFCX-led projects here, as well as individual user projects. Combined though, we just recently hit the 100 million minute mark. So there's now up to 108 million minutes of audio data in Arbimon. And with that, there have been 3,300 species identified. We're monitoring about 404,000 hectares globally. And to give an example of the kind of spatial scale, we've got RFCX-led projects in 37 countries, but then Arbimon projects from 114 countries, which is like 60% of all the countries in the world. So that's really exciting. And these numbers keep going up every day, which is super fun. And my colleague, Marconi, should be I believe we'll be posting the link to Arbimon in the chat so that you can take a look yourself. So some of you probably maybe already know about us and Arbimon, but for those who don't, just briefly go over some of the different useful features we have. So this is what your project dashboard would look like, or project page would look like. There's lots of different upload tools. We've got an uploader app, as well as file management and organization tools. So from that, you also can visualize and annotate spectrograms with particular species. If you want to, there's a bunch of different parameters that you can use to view these. And all of those spectrograms get put into our suite of tools. So anything that's really facilitating the semi-automated species detection through pattern matching, which we actually did a Wild Labs Tech Tutors episode on, that will also be linked to in the chat. So if you want to learn more about that, check it out. But for this particular talk, I'm going to be focusing on two new features that we've recently released and we're really excited about. Those are the audio event detection and clustering pipeline and our insights platform. So first, the audio event detection and clustering, or AED-C. So this is an unsupervised workflow. The clustering particularly has dbScan running under the hood for you software people. And I do just want to preface this with, this is still in beta. So we just released it recently and we're still actively working on it. But basically, as with any ecoacoustic pipeline, you start with data collection, and then you feed those data into the audio event detector. And so what the output of that would look like in Arbimon is something like this. There's, again, a number of different user-defined parameters that you can have for amplitude thresholds and frequency, bandwidth filters and things like that. So you might get something that's output like this. These are each of the events. And then the algorithm basically extracts a bunch of different acoustic features from those audio events. And a list of those is in our white paper that we released on this whole pipeline, which I think can also, Marconi is going to post the link to that white paper in the chat. So if you want to learn more about the specs and details, please do check that out. So there's this acoustic feature extraction step. as well. And then based on those acoustic features, the algorithm tries to cluster different sounds together. And so in Arbimon, that looks something like this. So these are all different clusters that are being grouped together based on shared acoustic features. And then from here, you can then go in and manually explore the clusters. You can identify and assign species identifications to those clusters so that you have a better idea of species identifications. So in that validation page is going to look something like this. So you have clusters that you can assign as different species in the interface itself. And this all can get put into later analyses like CNNs, which I will touch on in a bit. So this is an unsupervised workflow. It's the algorithm and the platform that's generating these clusters, and then it involves still a manual validation set to assign the clusters to species and things like that. So with all of these analytical tools, we wanted to really be able to create a way that people of any background, all stakeholders, could really understand the results that can be gleaned from ecoacoustic data. So we wanted to create something that would make these results actionable and interpretable by everyone. So that led to the creation of the Arbimon Insights page. So this is, I'm actually gonna go into the Insights page itself, 1 second, and show you what it actually looks like. If my Zoom would share. All right. Your screen shares. Beautiful. So here, this is one of our partner projects in the Atlantic Forest of Brazil. The dashboard page shows you some summary stats, what species are there based on taxonomic group or endangered status from the IUCN Red List. You have a species richness map, detection frequency, and then you can dive a little bit deeper into spatial and temporal comparisons in these things. So species richness, you can also compare. So if you just wanted amphibians versus all, you can compare date ranges, particular sites to get a better idea of the spatial component here. Activity, it allows you to look at detection frequency for different locations over different amounts of time here. And then the spotlight page allows you to pick a particular a particular species. So this uniform crake here, and then it'll calculate all of that information for the species. If my video might be buffering a bit. There we go. So this one you can see is just at this one site here. So it's only found in one. Yeah, so that's just an idea of the Insights page. And please do check it out. We have a bunch of showcase projects. Let me hop back into the Steph's probably going to yell at me about the time soon. So we actually, though, are working on making a new and improved Insights page. What I'm going to show you is sneak peek. So it's still all kind of prototypes. Things might change, but just to give you a teaser of what we're hoping to work on, better visualizations with the maps, being able to filter by species and taxon and site, having better kind of color scales, and then also generating some metrics and kind of overall project-wide summary stats. So look out for that in the future. And then the final thing I want to touch on is our CNN workflow. So CNN is convolutional neural net. It's a type of machine learning model that is now commonly used with any sort of image-based conservation tech stuff. So that includes spectrograms, which are the visual representations of sound that end up getting put in these models. At Rainforest Connection, with our partners, have developed 10 regional CNNs from around the world, and these collectively have 670 species. Both of these numbers are rising, though, every day, and across these regional CNNs, we've got an average global precision of 0.87. So they're doing pretty well, and we are actively, working to increase these numbers. So if you're interested or you work in any of these places, please do get in touch. But what we are, so basically within the CNN workflow in Arbimon, it would be you basically give it, these models are already trained with data that we have from partners. And so we are hoping to potentially build out some sort of kind of plug and play interface for partners or other users to be able to use our CNNs, as well as potentially hosting external models such as BirdNet. So you would basically be able to run data through a CNN job and then verify species. So this looks similar to the cluster analysis validation, but rather than clusters, you've got species here. That again also is all in development, but if you are interested in doing any of this stuff with us, please do reach out. I'll be hopping in the Zoom chat. If you have further questions, you can check out our website and find us and me on Twitter. We would love to hear from you if you'd like to get involved. And I leave you with my favorite vocalizing species, the black and white ruffed lemur. So yeah, thanks.
Just like to say, Carly is also available through Wild Labs. I cannot believe you missed that off your final slide. Great talk, Carly. Marconi's been dropping heaps of links into the chat, and Tom, our next speaker, has been the one asking all the questions. So, which I think most of them have been answered. The main one was actually, is it a desktop app or a web-based one? Because he would love to use this for an international project with a bad angle, but has terabytes of data.
Yeah, so it's a web-based platform, but we do have a desktop uploader app. So you can just have that run in the background, like set it to upload. I uploaded 5 terabytes of data like into Arbimon, just like setting it to run overnight and throughout the day. So the desktop app for the upload can just run in the background, but then it all gets put up into the cloud. It's AWS basically being run under the hood for the Arbimon web-based.
Tom, I'm going to throw to you. Carly, you're getting a couple more questions from the chat, including, is the tool only rainforest focused? But I'll let you pick them up in the chat or over on Wild Labs once we post the recordings.